on there as well. All right, good deal. So we've already had, before we went live, before we started recording, like 5 different conversations.
Yeah,
It
which
seems like- so
that's usually what happens.
So we're like, let's just start recording. I think we're gonna
Before
probably
and after.
bounce around
yeah.
here too, just because there's kind of so much to talk about, but we haven't written it all down. But we were just talking about, all right, so we're fans of wrestling. We're talking about all sorts of wrestling.
Yep.
AEW?
AEW, yeah.
AEW.
All Elite Wrestling, which is pretty interesting.
It sounds weird though. It doesn't flow off the tongue easy, is what I'm saying.
It doesn't. AEW kind of flows off, I guess, but like All Elite Wrestling is kind of weird sounding. But the reason they use the Elite thing is, if any of y'all follow pro wrestling, y'all know what I'm talking about. You may not know. Anyway, in New Japan, you had the faction, the Bullet Club, which was like the New Age NWO, basically.
Okay.
And then within that faction, you had like the Bullet Club OG. It's kind of just like the NWO, where it kind of got too saturated. You had like the Bullet Club OGs, like the guys who were there from the start, and then you had this group that were the Americans who kind of came over, and they were they called themselves the Elite, and it was 3 of them. It was Kenny Omega, and then the Young Bucks, the tag team, and then
they're in that AEW, right?
yeah, no, and then when they all left New Japan, they made friends with Cody Rhodes and all that, and they called themselves the Elite. So they were going by that title, the Elite, and when they made their company, they were like, well, we'll just call it All Elite Wrestling, because their first show was called All In. It was just a one-off show they wanted to do.
Okay, just one time just to go do
a
show.
And because they all love professional wrestling, and, especially Cody, he came from a different era. He came under his dad, Dusty,
Yeah.
So anyway, they did that, and it absolutely killed. And they were like, well, we might be onto something. So they made another show, and they saw the reception their second show was going to get. And pretty much they went ahead and just made it an actual promotion.
Okay.
And then the guy from the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tony Khan or Todd Khan or something like that, he invested it into the promotion, gave them billions of dollars. Long story short, it's come back around. Ted Turner has officially given them a spot on TNT Network, which is going to be cool.
So because they just had a show. Was that show?
Yeah.
Purely pay-per-view only then?
That was a pay-per-view.
Online? So everything so far has just been pay-per-view, online only type things. So now they're going to have a television spot. I found it kind of interesting just because, I do still enjoy watching the wrestling. Enjoy watching with Devin. I won't lie, the other night I was watching, Money in the Bank. Hadn't finished watching that one yet. But, it's just fun. But then seeing some of the stuff online, you're like... John Moxley, which was
Dean
Ambrose, and we were just talking about that. It was like, well, they let him go because he thought he was retiring. And we were like,
he retired. He retired from your company.
He retired from you.
Wrestling.
But yeah, so it's just kind of interesting to see that kind of stuff play out and everything.
Well, what's really
and this is one I read about just because I was always a fan of The Undertaker. Didn't he have something to do with this, or didn't in his promotion, or
no? He went. So he was kind of I guess semi-retired for a little bit. He's going back for Saudi Arabia, but because WWE has stupid money from the Saudi Arabia shows now.
Oh yeah.
He was pretty much a free agent for a little bit.
Yeah, and I thought he was allowed to go do other stuff.
He was, and then
they found out. Yeah, because
they were like, more money.
Yeah, so they kind of.
Well, what's crazy is this AEW show with John Moxley. Now he was on another podcast, Chris Jericho's podcast.
Okay.
His is called Talk is Jericho. If any of y'all are ever interested in hearing some of that cool stuff. And he basically did the same thing that CM Punk did. When CM Punk left, he went on a podcast and they just spilled everything. And since then there has been a lot of things come out. You figured out why Moxley was so unhappy. That you figured out why certain wrestlers are being punished. And then there's apparently a lot of people coming out of the woodworks and saying, yeah, this is 100% true. This is exactly how we feel. And when our contracts run up, we've already mentally checked out, and when our contracts are up, we're leaving as well. And and some of these names, no one's officially come out and said it because they're they want to protect their image, obviously. But there's a lot of speculation on who certain people are,
which people might come out.
Because it's kind of obvious. You just watch the shows, and you can pick and choose and be like, this guy's losing every week. They're making him a laughingstock. Obviously, he's not happy in this role.
Yeah.
Some guys get called up to the main roster and then never get used because of some, stupid reasons.
Well, that and they have their brand and whatnot, and there's only so many people you can be at the top of a certain thing because there's only so many belts, and they've introduced new belts, and then it's flooding of stuff. So I think it's one of those things. It introduces having competition is a good thing for all people.
It's kind of like the WCW days.
Yeah,
Honestly, is what it's
it
like.
kind of like, so it gives you something to play on, which I think is good for everybody.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know, for those of you who I guess might, hey, another quasi word purist, might be purist and just want to hear about other wrestling. We're gonna get into that too. But
we were just talking about it, so we were like, oh, let's go ahead and hit record.
yeah, why not?
Continue
Yeah,
on to
so
the-
it's all fun. Like I said,
Yeah.
granted, we are a wrestling podcast predominantly. I don't even like the term amateur, but
I don't
real
I-
wrestling. Yeah,
I've never heard anyone except professional wrestling call it amateur
I
wrestling.
think so. Yeah.
And
So
I've always just called it
senior level
wrestling.
NCAA
Yeah.
freestyle Greco wrestling. That is our predominant thing. That's three heads of Cerebrus that we talked about from our initial get go. But we have always said that we don't mind talking about other things, whether it be from music to
Movies.
games to movies to
MMA.
to
We've
MMA
talked about a lot
to
of this stuff before.
to the other wrestling.
Mhm.
And speaking of movies, you were just asking about like Endgame,
Yeah.
and I think we are far enough along that
we don't have to
this-
say spoiler.
there's no spoilers.
It's been what,
you know.
like over a month? Like, come on, you guys have
You know what I finally just
plenty of
saw?
time.
We just got it on iTunes or whichever. Captain Marvel.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it too. So the only thing I didn't like about that is the Kree, kind of making them, because in the comics they're more villainous.
But in a way, it's kind of I remember like depending on which storyline you read,
Yeah.
it is kind of all that way. They're
Yeah.
just two species that are like hate each other,
Yeah.
and depending on which side you grew up on, the other one
Or
is
not the
definitely
Kree. Yeah, the scroll.
the scroll and the Kree. Like
Yeah.
depending on which side you're on, like the other is definitely evil and bad. And
Yeah.
then, but who knows? Like, what is it?
The scroll is the
the-
usually one that's bad. My bad. I had it backwards there.
The Hatfield or which like
Hatfield McCoy.
yeah. It depends which side of the family were you raised on. The
Yeah.
other one is just the evil one, and then come to find out, it's like two like way off grandpa and grandma's got into a fight, and it's
Yeah.
built ever since. So in that case, I didn't mind that storyline because I've
Yeah.
seen it
So,
both ways. I think so.
what did you think of the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer?
I didn't see that on that because I didn't see it in theater. I
Ooh.
saw it online though with the
The multiverse.
it leads into the multiverse.
That's gonna be so cool.
Because of how Mysterio's
Yeah.
role is in there.
They take
Um,
that, I think, directly from the comics.
Did you? Speaking of like wow. All right. Sorry, guys.
I
Just
don't know
spazzed
what
out.
he's talking about.
Yeah. Not yet. Speaking of Captain Marvel, Iron Man. Well, not speaking of Iron Man, but when you talk about Peter Parker, Iron Man, the whole multiverse thing, where is all this stuff going?
Oh, yeah. So this is actually what me and a lot of my coworkers talked about for like 2 weeks after this. So, okay, there's one thing about this whole time travel thing that I dislike. It's kind of like this, Deus Ex Machina type thing where it's like now they have basically a scapegoat for anything.
Oh
that
yeah,
happens.
you do. You have for
But I
everything.
think they're gonna-
I mean,
they're
that's
gonna
the
be-
Flashpoint
yeah.
thing with DC and Flash.
They're gonna play it cool, but honestly,
It's how they rebooted Star Trek.
yeah.
So with time travel.
And I think where you're going with this, correct me if I'm wrong, are you talking about who's going to be the next big bad?
No, well, which
Okay.
we have talked about. Which
I know we've talked about.
We've talked
this.
about it. So like
Yeah.
you and I both think it's going to be.
I think it's going to be Galactus or Kang.
And I'm going more with Kane because Kane is like the master of time travel and doesn't like
and
people
like, he
messing
doesn't,
with it.
and that's the thing with Mysterio. I think Mysterio is going to be the intro to that, possibly.
Yeah, so I think all that's going to
Yeah.
intertwine. And then, well, what I was going to say is, having watched the movie and having read some of the different comic books, I think people are going to be confused. They're going to think that Peter Parker, the Iron Man, is going to be like Spider-Man's going to pick up the role of the next Iron Man.
No.
Okay? There was a lot of speculation of Endgame on whether or not his daughter would be
The
the
next.
next Iron Man.
Really?
But I think that's a smokescreen because if you go back to some of the comic book history,
Yeah.
the girl that was Captain Marvel's friend's daughter, I think takes over
Okay.
as Iron Man because she's already building things. She's interested. She's like the scapegoat.
Yes, 'cause she
and,
builds the little. She sees
so
the technology.
The technology
Yeah.
with and notice the first color scheme that she put in there for Captain Marvel was the Iron Man colors. And she's like, nope, and then moved on. And I was like, I remember that little girl from like one thing. And so
I didn't
she's
even
gonna.
think about that.
Yeah,
That's
so
mind blowing.
I think they already introduced the next Iron Man, and nobody knows The hell with spoilers.
So
that's what it is right there.
The
So that's
MCU has done everything to a T. They've perfected their trailers. They perfected the movies. They've gotten the little like Easter eggs down. I'm telling you, Marvel's got some sneaky stuff going.
and we just let you know right here, right now. Just broke it for you live because it is live. That little girl from Captain Marvel is the next Iron Man. I'm banking on it.
I didn't even think about that. You just thought that just blew my mind. I'm sitting there. I'm thinking back in my head.
That's why I was like, whoa. It's so she's gonna be the next girl, or she's gonna be the next.
What I was
Iron Man.
thinking is what's gonna happen is you're gonna have Phase 4, and what happened. So the way I had it set up, I think we talked about this is. It's either going to be Kang or Galactus, and I honestly kind of want to see it be Galactus just because I felt that injustice they did to him and
the Fantastic Four has been rebooted so many times.
Yeah,
so
and it's just
up, yeah.
But you could because he would literally be the next big bad because he would devour the entire planet. So my thing would be is you're going to have just like we had in the Avengers, like the first one you had the Chitauri again in Loki, and they're big villains, but they're not big. They're not Thanos level villain. Then you had Ultron, who is a little bit bigger villain. And I'm thinking what they may do, maybe, is it can go, they might do for like the first one. I would like to see the Sinister Six, honestly.
Well, I think that's where Spider-Man has been trying to go for so long.
The biggest thing, and that's so I think
Vulture, Doc Ock, Mysterio.
They got
Shocker.
Scorpion.
Although they killed Shocker, I thought.
They got Scorpion.
Scorpion, you know what I
mean?
mean?
Well, they brought him back with the
they can,
movie.
So.
But anyway, so I feel like that could be like your first movie. Like you could do the first movie with like the Sinister Six because it's you could be like a quick throwaway. Second one could possibly be like Kang because he's a bigger villain and like a more of a threat, just like Ultron was.
Yeah.
And then like have Galactus be the big one, and or you could do it backwards. You could do Galactus then Kang.
The reason why I think they'll go with Kang is it's K-A-N-G or
Kang.
Kang. The reason why I think they'll go that route is, believe it or not, watching Squaddies, Superhero Squaddies, which is the cheesy cartoon one, and or the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which was like kind of like Devin started watching Squaddies when he was like little, and then he kind of like evolved in just to Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Those were they had the whole Thanos Infinity Gauntlet. They had the Ultron, Age of Ultron battles. So they had all these movies that was already just prepackaged into like the little kid things, and I'm like, And then one of the ones they haven't done yet that they have was Kane was in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and I thought that was really. It's just kind of, if you go back and if you have the time and patience, and they are cutesy and they are little kid stuff, but they're fun. Like they even have Captain Marvel and stuff in. Go back and watch the little kid ones and be like, "Dadgum, MCU is just replaying Superhero Squaddies."
Well, Star Wars kind of did the same thing.
Yeah, but because the writing on it was, even though they're corny for children, the writing on it was based off the comics. It's solid.
My thing, there's two things actually. One is I want to see Mr. Negative make an appearance in the MCU, especially after what they did with him in the video games. Or the video game that came out, because it was super interesting, like especially the effects.
That Spider-Man game was good.
It was really good. I'm not even gonna lie.
Did you get all the
DLC? No, my cousin did. I was over at his house when we were playing.
Okay, I was gonna say when you're here on vacation, Devin's got it, and they're all on there. So I play there too.
I can definitely do that. I definitely will do that probably.
Yeah.
And then I want to see that, but also, have you heard that
I'll find out when
Venom
you're
might be making
turn up the heat on you.
Yeah, I'll be sweating in here, but I'll be happy. I'm not leaving. Venom might make an appearance in the MCU now. So apparently,
he needs to, because Venom's a Sony character.
So what they're saying is with
Sony,
the MCU buying, like getting the Fantastic Four and X-Men now, they're thinking one of the things they're thinking about doing is when
be a new Wolverine. Because
I don't know, like me.
Yeah.
But no, so they're thinking that once the contract for Spider-Man rolls out for the MCU, because that's coming up after I think like one or two more movies, they're going to just renew it, and maybe in that deal they're going to talk to Marvel. They're going to talk to Sony and just be like, give us Tom Hardy and Venom. Or give us Venom and
here's some cash.
And and
your name
got the cash.
And your name still gets to be on it.
And the way they could do it is they would introduce him by slipping in through the timeline. And if you watch, this is kind of interesting.
You're in the Ultraverse,
that's what I'm saying.
Which universe you
I was watching a video on this, and they went into it deep. They never tell you exactly around the time Eddie Brock's doing all this stuff, so you don't know if it's before the aliens like after the Chitauri. So this could be like this movie could actually they could even spin it where it's like this is a pre-2012
Yeah.
movie before the first Avengers, and they can say so that's when he says he's never heard of aliens. They can just say, well, or maybe he's in a universe where the Chitauri never came through,
Yeah.
and then they just pull him in.
Yeah.
So there's ways that you can
look,
bully it
and
in.
like he can go off into space with Venom, and like,
Yeah.
dude, you got the Space Venom, which was a whole series.
Oh yeah, I mean you have
Like, so you can go up into
There's
space,
movies
travel,
there,
go
yeah.
through, so then you have the
because then you could introduce like
whole anti venom and space venom,
this
or
planet symbiote, like all
yeah,
that
and
cool
then
stuff.
all that stuff. So all be a bunch of craziness. So.
Yeah, we said we were going to talk about wrestling here. in a
Yeah,
second,
so
but
we're like
Sorry.
15, almost 20 minutes in, and we haven't got to any hashtag it wrestling talk yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
speaking of like not wrestling talk,
We
and
might just do two
hashtags-
parts of this
and
episode.
hashtags like get in touch with our man. Like I'm sorry, I'm gonna rant on it a little bit more. I need some soap. I mean, well, I still use soap. Don't worry, people. It's not funky.
Hashtag we
but-
need soap.
Yes, I'm gonna start putting.
No,
that-
I'm on a strictly no bathing thing into the soap. No, I'm kidding. Guys.
Yeah, until you start shipping again. No, seriously, like you need to just get in contact with Jeremiah and be like, hey,
Yeah.
how much would it be to ship just a case?
Yeah.
One case.
One last case.
Well, not one last case. One case every quarter. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll say quarter. We'll say like 4 times a year, dude. How much for a case of soap? Like, legit. Let us know. We'll cover the shipping. I know shipping was rough on you on things like that. And that's why, like, Fractal BJJ, went more toward the BJ. And I think he said they're still doing soap locally.
I think so.
So,
pretty sure.
I hope he's not like out of the soap game completely. But hopefully, I
That was
think,
good soap.
huh?
That is
Because I
great
think
soap.
he's just down doing. Correct us if we're wrong. All right, let us know. I think you said you were doing just soap locally, which makes sense. I have to deal with shipping and whatnot. But it's summertime, and I noticed that dadgum, like some of the bug bites. I remember just even so things seem to just heal quicker and was
Oh
just
god!
better.
Speaking of bug bites,
So-
I got bit by a mosquito last
I know,
night.
man.
In my sleep,
Yeah.
and it got me 3 times, and I was scratching. I had a dream I touched something I was allergic to, and I was like,
So anyway, so we're gonna be in contact. Our man, go get some rash guards and some cool T-shirts, and I Heart Aggressive Cuddling. It's still one of my faves. And but yeah,
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna.
get another shirt of that because I think I ruined mine hiking.
Oh.
All the sweat.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's just now I've got like. I
So-
mean, they're hard to see, but it's.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's kind
just,
of a model type thing. But anyway, but yeah, we're gonna have to hit you up and see. We'll cover shipping, man, and obviously some product. But yeah, dude, can we get a case? What is it would to be a case and get a case a couple times a year just to keep us happy, But yeah, I was just thinking about that too.
No, I mean I like the soap, so I don't blame you because it makes my skin. It doesn't dry my skin out.
It doesn't it's there wasn't. It was just that's so weird for us to.
You need
still
to
be
use
going.
them on your face, which everyone talks about. Oh, you can't use bar soap on your face because it's too harsh. But this one, since it's not doesn't have those phosphates in it, it doesn't dry your face out. And
So anyway, I missed the soap. We're gonna have to hit you up. We'll
Yeah.
see if we can get you to ship out a case. Like I said, we will cover the cost on shipping so that it's not hurting anybody on that. But all right, on to actual wrestling talk. Obviously, right now is freestyle season, RN season, locking hand season, throw me for 5 season, whatever way you want to talk.
5 season.
Whatever way you want to figure it all out. Final X is coming up. Lots of great stuff coming up. But there's been some, for some of this, it's not breaking news. One thing is breaking news that we just heard about today. But other parts of it, you guys have already heard about, but we have yet to really sit and talk about it. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with retirements, injuries, and one of the injuries is breaking news for today's layman stuff.
Let's talk about the retirements first. Kind of show them a little bit of respect, I guess.
Oh man, more than a little bit of respect.
Yeah, I mean,
they deserve all the respect in the world.
Everything.
One, I love the. I hate that Logie Bear wasn't able to do it, able to retire after his last match and know that was it and leave the shoes. I think that for those that do it like Logie Bear, who just come to terms and hey, I'm going to retire, I need to move on, I'm going to do some other stuff within the sport and club, whichever. I wish there was a way for him to be able to go to a tournament and show up and hey, this is about the current wrestlers that are wrestling and in the finals or something like that, but maybe before the finals that it'd been awesome. Flo, listen to us now, okay? Set it up. Let Logie Bear come before the finals of your stuff. Come out and have a little retirement ceremony. Let him put his shoes out there, walk out to the center, and leave his shoes in the center. We need that from our guys. We need
this
that
is
visual
coming from
thing.
this is a 4-time national champion. I feel like he kind of deserves that.
4-time national champ, world gold medalist,
world gold medalist.
and multiple world team member. I want to
He
see
needs
him
that
walk out and put his shoes in
Yeah.
the center of the mat. I loved it when Mango did it, although it took him 20 minutes to like get his shoes undone. Which is kind of funny in its own right. But then also the fact that that we got to see Tony Ramos go out there, put his shoes out in the center.
That one was kind of.
It was kind of a surprise. It
was a surprise, but it wasn't. I'm not going to say that it was a shocker.
It wasn't a shocker, but it was. I wasn't expecting it.
I was like, whoa. When I saw it, I was kind of like.
Especially when we're 1 year away from the Olympic cycle.
Yeah.
I figure people would
maybe
go
another
ahead.
year or two.
One more year in comparison to like the beginning of another cycle of like, man, 4 more years to the next Olympics, kind of a little bit more expected. Like, I kind of thought they might make one more run and kind of be done with it there.
Yeah.
So, but, that's just what I thought. Hey, buddy. You got 2 Megalodons. Well, let's show everybody your Megalodons really quick. Check them all out, guys. We got 2 Megalodons. Those are pretty cool.
Sharks.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, it's not surprising that he retired, but
not at all.
I guess it was surprising the timing.
The timing, like I said, I was kind of expecting one last Olympic trial run. Let's just see whether or not whatever happens this year. Cool, but everybody wants that one more Olympic shot.
Then again, it kind of goes into the thing we were talking about with professional wrestling is maybe he was kind of already mentally checked out, and he just realized if I'm not mentally all here,
if I'm not mentally all here, there's no way that I'm doing this.
There's no way I'm doing it, and I'm doing a disservice to a great sport by just
a great sport and like the hardship on your family. Like what people don't realize, like at this level of that, not obviously our level, but the level that these guys are competing at, doing the sacrifices that they have to make for everybody,
we're not,
or that the other people make for them, like just the cutting weight and other parts of it. Like if there wasn't that, like if it was just one thing to show up to go to work, your job was to go wrestle every day, and then you leave your work and you come home and you have your family life,
like you're Russian or something.
Yeah, well, even then they gotta cut weight too, I guess.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, but they have it a little bit easier where it's like you kind of got a little bit more financial backing. I guess that's why, as bad as everything turned out, we've talked about it before, the Foxcatcher idea was a good thing.
Yeah.
Having a local...
Yeah, definitely.
Thing.
But what I'm saying is, like, that's what's always made wrestling great as far as, like, high school wrestling and college wrestling and other things like that. And that's what makes wrestlers a different breed, is that self-discipline outside of the practice time.
Or kind of like
when you go home, it doesn't end for you.
Yeah.
Football player, when you go home, you want to have that extra slice of banana cream pie that's sitting there on the counter that mom got from the store because it's the weekend. Hey, have at it.
The better you are.
The wrestler, I can't. There's a self-discipline that has to be there. And at that level where they're cutting like pretty dramatic amounts of weights, I mean, that's like, like I'm not in the mood to go to my child's birthday party because there's cake and ice cream and I can't be there and I'm like drained. Like, so there's a different toll that they're putting on their families and other things at that level. And like I said, if you're not head into it and there, then you're checked out of it. And I completely get it and I understand it. So you got the glow in the dark grave digger? Okay.
And then,
you don't have to turn off the lights. We believe it's glow in the dark, buddy.
And then like with wrestling, when it comes down to, I mean,
you're gonna test it. Lights may change, people.
There it goes.
See, there it is.
But wrestling, in a sense,
on top of there.
On that one over there. So if we turn this light off for a second, you gonna let us finish recording? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big affirmative. All right, guys. For those on video, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Well, it's kind of hard to see in here just because there's a little bit of grain to it. So, a little bit of grain. But, because we still have the light. Oops. There we go.
No, turn it off.
We did, but it's still nighttime. Alright, go turn the light on for us.
But yeah, like wrestling in a sense is...
I'll do it in a little bit.
In a little bit we will, okay? But yeah.
Wrestling is almost kind of like a cult sport. When you think
it is.
Like, you don't, when you see people play football, it's like, oh, everyone plays football.
I mean, people say, other sports say they eat, live, and breathe their sport.
Yeah, no, but when it comes to like wrestling, if you run into another person who
really do it like wrestlers do.
When you see
like,
another person,
it is a lifestyle.
Yeah, it is, and like it's something that it's a struggle.
We are
that
better
only,
than everybody else.
It's a struggle that only a few get to understand.
Yeah, it really is.
I talked to some people at work yesterday. I was at work, and there was a guy in there that I work with. I didn't know it. He wrestled, and we were talking about wrestling. He's like, And like I was talking about doing I was talking about a wrestling move with somebody there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can do this," and then I was like, "Did you wrestle?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I wrestled." And then it was like literally this instant.
It's
bond
like this
between
one.
three
It's like
people.
this thing that happens. Like one, whether or not you were successful in it, or whether you wrestled for one season, or your whole high school season, or even off into college, or at the senior level. Like there's that instantaneous respect of like, dude, I only lasted a semester. Like you don't know
Yeah.
how many people and parents like I've met who are like, I wrestled for a semester, or I wrestled
Yeah.
for 1 year, and it's like y'all are crazy. But there's that admiration and
Oh, yeah.
respect that's automatically given because
Absolutely.
you understand that. Like I said, that lifestyle that it takes to do.
It's a
all
different thing.
And like you said, so if you're checked out of it, then he's being fair to him. He's being fair to his family. He's being fair to those around him.
It's just, and it's also like the other thing that was kind of, I guess that caught me off guard, and I didn't really think about it until like a couple of days ago. I've known about this for a minute since it's happened, but still, like I was just really thinking about it. It's what we were talking about when we were upstairs. Like this is one of the first era of guys that I was able to like, I guess, follow more, and like the more I was getting into it, so it's kind of like my first. I mean, I knew about some guys.
It's like your
beforehand.
fandom like experience.
Yeah,
Like this is my group
exactly.
that I like grew up as a fan of and watching.
And I mean, like I knew guys before them, but it's like these guys were ones that I was
And
actually
these
able
are
to
the
follow.
ones that you were that you were able to follow. They
Yeah.
were there. We got to see their interviews. We got
And
to
it's
see
just
them.
like time passed by so
Social
fast.
media. We're able to actually
Yeah.
communicate directly with those people.
I
we
still
were talking
remember
about-
me and you talking about if we thought Stever was going to be a 4-timer. Like I think we had
Yeah.
that conversation where like, do you think he does it? And I mean, he did. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it honestly seems like yesterday, and
Yeah,
now look where he's
definitely.
at. It's
And
just-
then, like I said, knows that I'm a big Brands Brothers guy.
Yeah.
I love the Brands Brothers, and one of the reasons why is, and this is not to take anything against them, away from them. I mean, but when you look at it, back when I was wrestling in high school and whatnot, my dad brought me that. I think it was an ESPN magazine with them. I read their article, and I thought it was cool. And then the next day came along, and I did not have the internet to go look up something. I did not have Flow to go watch the latest tournament. So what did I have? I reread the article about the Brands Brothers again. And then I reread the article about the Brands Brothers again. And then I memorized that article. And then, that was my, then I got into freestyle wrestling. Then we finally started getting, like, the USA Wrestling magazine. We used to get a little tidbits, but it still wasn't as depth as the amount of information that's out there today. So you're right. Like, getting to watch those guys is, whereas like I guess I'm kind of old school, and maybe not even as old school as some, but I'm old school in the sense that like, hey, that era was some of my favorite wrestlers, but like this era of wrestlers, the ones that we were able to follow them and their careers, and then not now see some of the new guys coming up. Like Ben Askren was kind of like in the beginning of it. And before they had popularity, before they had some stuff, so I knew who Ben Askren was by watching and seeing some of the early films and early interviews and stuff, but it wasn't quite there yet. But it was like the generations after that not only is it that we can watch them, but they have financial backing, they have sponsors.
That was
they
a
have
great
other things.
time too when you think about it. Like, cause I remember I used to, when I was a little kid, I'd get like Sports Illustrated magazines and I'd see them at the schools and all that. And I would read through them, and like, and then when I found articles about anything to do with, like, say, like it was anything to do with wrestling or combat sports, like, say, I remember reading this article about Roy Jones Jr. I don't know how many times when I was in like 4th or 5th grade, and I mean, and it's just something that I don't know, like you felt. You had to put that effort in to be a fan, and you just felt like
you had to work. Well, we've talked about that before too. The amount of work that you had to put in to find something, and now it's like so easy. It's like so like
spoiled a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but in a good way though too. Because I wouldn't have it any other way. Like to have too much content to be able to keep up on. Because now I'm like, man, I haven't watched all the duels from this last weekend. That's amazing. It's also really helped out in the sense that since I've cut cable, minus certain ESPN accounts, but yeah. But other than that though, like I don't miss like watching like other TV as much. But that being said, also like. What do you think about, like, since you were able to follow at that time period of how things were, and this is where I was jokingly saying I'm gonna lose some fans or potential sponsorships for us, but like at first, like when some of these guys started coming out and getting big, and it wasn't everybody, and they tried a lot of different things, but there were like limited people, but it was like T-Ram was kind of branded, M2 Magic Man,
Metcalf when he had the ASIC.
Yeah, he did he had Asics for a little bit, but he didn't have like
He wasn't
like-
like big, but he had the camo.
he did for the camo for the stuff. But like Flips before they became Scrap Life was the one that was like individually doing stuff. Like Devin
Oh,
still got the
gosh.
socks from like
I remember
Magic
when
Man
he first
sock.
got the Flips.
the Flips
Yeah.
with the label on the thing and
You
the
do different
brand
wraps and
different wraps and the branding for the individual things. Whereas that was the beginning of it, I think that was some of the best advertising and branding
Yeah.
for those wrestlers.
oh yeah,
Since whatever's happened with all that has left, now Flips is now Scrap Life, which now Scrap Life, you've got some cool gear. Like I like the joggers and I like some of the stuff that you've done. But I'm gonna say this: the individualized gear for like their wrestlers,
Yeah.
like Scrap has signed what pretty much Penn State got. Zane, Bo, Nolf, DT, obviously, David Taylor is the first one. Like, to me, their gear for those individuals, what do you think? I think their gear is weak. I don't
compared to
like
what's,
the-
compared to what's around now. Yeah,
I don't like the way their stuff looks mediocre and high schoolish.
yeah.
The blue bow hair is kind of cool, but like kind of like I said, just because he's got blue hair, but there's still a way that can be done. The bow with like the wings, it reminds me of something like some sort of old school restaurant wings
Yeah.
type thingy.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah,
It's got that feel to it. The Zane train, your stuff's gonna beat my tail. Like it just looks a little weak. The Zane train, it looks. I don't know.
just
it's
imagine if Rudis sponsored those guys.
like
It's
they're
big up.
now Rudis has done a much better job with their guys' gear and other
Oh,
stuff.
and
like
the
that.
quality, the quality of
Like the
their
Kyle
shirts.
Snyder, the KS. Look, now I don't know about the quality. Like I haven't got I've got some Scrap Life stuff and
I
their quality
prefer Rudis quality.
and their Under Armour stuff is cool and I do
Yeah.
like it. I'm just about like the actual design. Like the KS for Kyle Snyder is
simple
great,
but effective.
but it's nice and it can work.
That's
on
what
a
I'm
lot
saying.
of
It's
things.
simple but
Like
effective.
I just think the branding of the image is better with other places than what those guys have currently got. And I missed it because I like Imar's is cool, the brawler type look. But I just because I still am a big, huge DT fan. Love M2 Magic
I don't
Man.
personally know him.
Yeah, he responds to my Instagram. No, but like he had some like the coolest stuff. But now it's just kind of like M2 and it's kind of plain. It's kind of like
Lacking substance.
yeah, it just kind of gets me. Like one of the coolest one is like what is it? Nolf Pack. Like he's got the wolf on there, which kind of is ironic to me because like the guy that should have beat him was from the Wolf Pack, and
I think that's a little jab.
should be like a little thank you the other way around. I'm not
I think
so
it's-
bitter
I think
about
it's
that.
I think it's a little jab at NC
I'm
State.
not bitter about that at all, but like I just
University.
hadn't been like overly pleased with like the graphics
No.
of their stuff. And this is just coming from a purely aesthetic like design portion of it type thing.
Fun fact.
You know,
Or I don't say fun fact.
I like
theory.
I like Rudis. The Compound stuff. Other sleep. Compound. I think Compound was one doing the Flips advertising stuff, and I think this like whoever they have in their stuff was doing a better job. I'm not sure who Scrap Life has in their design department. I think their advertising and what they're doing is great, but I
Yeah.
think they just need a stronger
The
design.
apparel.
I think they
I
just
mean,
need a stronger design.
This is highly. I don't really believe this, but maybe they were like, "Hey, we got our success early on. Let's kind of dumb down our stuff and let Rudis get some sales and like let's grow these wrestling brands." I mean, I don't think that's really happening.
Yeah.
But still, no,
But I
that's,
mean, I love the Rudis brand. I love the shoes. I think their
love
designs are on point.
I love their bags.
I love
Their
their
bags
bags.
are amazing.
Compound does, I think, a great job with
Yeah.
the designs of their product and other things like that.
Terra Grappler
um,
has some pretty cool
Terra
stuff.
Grappler's got some cool stuff. There's a Cradle Gear has neat stuff. There's Addicts. Just Heart Apparel. Just Heart Apparel, my man who did our shirts over here, looking good. Don't worry, we're gonna still be getting some shorts and other stuff soon.
No, yeah, we can do those soon.
We got to. But yeah, I just have been like.
It's like,
I see, yeah, and I'm like, I shouldn't feel for like the quality
Yeah.
wrestlers that they've got. I'm like, I want to be blown away with their designs
Yeah.
as much as I am by the wrestlers themselves.
Like I
You
said,
know?
that's how the way I think about it is, like just imagine if you had people like Nolf, Nickel, and like DT, if they were like with Rudis or something like just imagine how cool some of those gear would look.
Yes.
Like,
Which one? This white one.
And that one just says Thunder on it. Those are Blue Thunders, and that's just the Thunder.
that sounds like a soda or something. Blue Thunder.
It's like a knockoff Mountain Dew or something.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Alright. Sorry about the banging on the microphone. He's got the Hot Wheels monster trucks on the table. Alright. Roll on out of here. Okay, flip it and then roll. Nice. Yes, you're banging away on the microphone. Oh, okay.
But yeah. No, I mean, I understand what you're saying though, about the whole scrap life thing. It's just, I mean, maybe they'll get a new design guy.
Yeah, whether it's a design guy or design department,
Design
because like
team,
they're
whatever.
working with a lot of stuff, and their website design is cool, like the functionality of it, and they're doing a lot of great stuff for their athletes. And I think they're tied in with like Bosch Solutions, which does a lot of different things. But it's just that they don't like you said, just like the branding has just been blah. And you know, when we talk about guys like Tony Ramos and Logie Stever, Logan Seaver, I said Logie.
Logie Bear.
Logie Bear and T-Ram. When you're talking about those guys and what they've done for the sport, like I just want their image and their brand to be knockout, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So-
But before we go on to other stuff, so basically I think sad to see them go. It's awesome though to have been followed their careers and whatnot. Loved watching both of them wrestle. I do think if you don't retire at a match of your own where you leave your shoes on after your last match, that I do think that there should be a retirement ceremony, and you should be allowed to. Flo should reach out to somebody before we host this tournament. You come out, put your shoes on the mat. We'll have like a moment of silence type thing. It doesn't have to be a moment of silence. You're not dead, but like you should be able to
Your
have.
career's dead. Well, not really, but
You know,
Do you
we
think-
should have that. Now, it should only be limited to that. You couldn't do it for everybody, like
Yeah.
you know. But it's got to be like those guys that were either, you know, world team members
Yeah.
and things like that. When those guys are done competing, because those are the guys that we are watching. Why are you making me beat myself up? Ow. Okay.
no, I mean, I like 100% agree. Like, I don't think you should have, say, like
Whoa.
Joe Schmo who barely made.
You know, you have your retirement ceremony with your friends and your family and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, you can
It's
leave
not-
your shoes on the mat out there, maybe, but like for as far as like ceremony goes, I think some guys do. Let me just say, I don't say deserve, but they have earned that right to have that.
Well, let's
big
put it like this:
ceremony.
when Jake Herbert retired,
Yeah,
like they never just said he retired. He kind of quit us. He's one that should. Okay, well we'll get you something in a sec. Okay.
Yeah, he just kind of
You know, and he's
trying
still
to reconnect. No.
wireless connection. It shouldn't be wireless. This
I'm
thing's
gonna
wired.
have this thing.
But we can do end live video and restart it here again in a second.
Yeah, I can just do that.
So, but yeah. And then, but like you know, guys like him, I think should just come back and be able to go ahead and have a retirement thing. You know,
Yeah.
all right, live videos ended.
Done.
Get ready to go live again here. All right,
Weird.
done. Let's just click done. Let's refresh the page.
Let's try this.
Finger party.
All right, bud.
But yeah, I mean, let's try this one more time.
Yeah.
I mean, we still got this video. This is usually the one we post anyway. This
Well,
one's
this
mainly
one,
just for the Facebook.
This is just for the Facebook stuff,
There
and
we
you know,
go.
just for fun, and just to make sure we're putting some content out there
Yeah,
for
so-
you guys. Because we won't.
we keep talking about how we're going
yeah.
to. We always.
Just keep on putting the content out there for you. So, all right. So we had the retirements, injuries. So yeah, injuries would be
Taylor.
David
Let's talk about
Taylor.
that one, I guess.
dude hurt the knee, it beat the streets. He
Yeah.
wanted to wrestle.
I
Turned
did
out to
not
be.
think-
It did not to me look like that major. When I say not that major, like I'm glad he stopped wrestling, but it looked like he was wanting to go, and they said no, and he had to take.
You know
off.
what's funny is
But then he was like,
who
went
was it?
ahead and had it done. I was like, wow.
Chael Sonnen. Like I said, if y'all ever we talk about podcasts on here too as well.
Chael
If y'all want to
Sonnen.
listen to a good podcast, go listen to Chael Sonnen. Here recently, he's been talking a lot about wrestling. I
Really?
mean, like, yeah, more so than he's always.
I mean, he's always been a
he's
wrestling
been a
fan.
wrestler, and he's always like talked about it here and there. But for some reason, recently, he's been covering a lot, especially since Beat the Streets. Like he'll talk about
Awesome.
the world like trials and all this stuff.
Well,
And
yeah,
it's great.
yeah.
And I'm happy he's doing that. But anyway, I heard him say something, and he was like, "It's weird." You know, he said when I initially saw the David Taylor injury, he said I didn't think it was anything that bad. He
I
said,
thought he tweaked the knee a little bit.
Yeah,
and I
and
was
he-
like, it hurts, and like,
the point
dude,
he
let's-
made is like usually the worst ones are the ones that don't look that bad.
you know, yeah. There's
And I thought about it, and I was like, I mean, he's not wrong. Like the
Yeah.
ones that you just don't look like your knee completely caves into the side.
Yeah,
Usually
we're
those
kind of
end up
like
being bad.
it didn't pop out and then pop back in, and you're kind of good after a week. Like this one,
Yeah.
it like
Like it looks
know.
like it looked like it was nothing, and then but they were smart enough to be like, hey, no, you need to stop. That's a bad thing.
yeah.
And
So
yeah, so that one, I'm glad he didn't wrestle because who knows what he could have.
yeah, how bad it could have been after that. So,
Yeah.
but so he's out. PD3 is in. And dude, the more I watch him, the more I actually like him. He's the one where I sent you. He's the one that did that snap, the basketball snap.
Boom!
Oh my gosh! And you know what was kind of funny about that match was like everybody was all over him for like being aggressive and the hard snaps and stuff like that. But I was like, when you watch the match, yeah, even the official was like talking to him like, it's 50-50. The other dude like was a Heflin, like he's banging too. Like they were just banging at it. Like,
He just happened to get his head bounced off the mountain.
and then they get to Malvin and John afterwards. Oh, did you get that clip?
Oh,
I
yeah.
sent it to you. Like,
It was like,
catch me outside. And it was like, how about that? Never mind.
Just kidding.
Nah, I ain't going out there with you. You know, I thought that was great and that was
Yeah.
hilarious. And while you know we have talked about it, I don't mind some after match antics and from the pro level and watching these guys and having a little bit of drama. That's fun. Was that one necessarily like the route I want us to be going? No, not necessarily. But
it happens occasionally.
it happens occasionally, and if we can sell it and get more people watching because of it and mash them up with the Catch Me Outside, I'm all about that matchup, and that was funny as all get out. And you know, but that's the thing, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, and if you can't laugh about it, then you're taking it a little too seriously.
Yeah.
And although at the same time, on the same note, we're a serious sport, and I want people to act respectfully, and I want my children to do right. You know, yes, I am there with all that.
There's a time for the little finger guns.
You know, but yeah, you know, but like I'm all there for all that stuff. So, all right, DT's out.
Dake might be out.
Before we get to Dake, Pat down. It's Survivor game, but I hope Pat Downey not only does well because I want him to do well for America.
Yeah.
I just think it would make for that much more entertainment next year.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Pat Downey's sitting out. DT now has to go through the gauntlet, you know, and like, not that I want DT to go through all that. I love DT as well, but like just the story of all that, and like we talked about, stories are good for the sport. And I want to see something good happen for the sport. You know, the bad guy wins. He's the world champ. He's sitting out. The golden boy, DT, is back. Magic Man, can you do it again? You know, I mean, it's like
Infinity War.
It's like yeah.
Thanos wins. They come back in Endgame. I mean,
it's a great script. I hope it happens. Now on to Dake, which happened today.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news a little bit earlier today. For those of you watching us first, breaking news now. Kyle Dake requested the delayed wrestle off, so he will not be at Final X. And he's wrestling off against Deringer. Is that who he's got?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Deringer. Tough match.
Yeah.
Tough match when healthy. More or less injured. Our speculation of why didn't he go down to Bros weight this year to try to knock him off and try to sit out for the Olympic year, I think now has to do with the kind of hard to go down a weight class when you're injured, and you can't knock off the king when you're injured. You got to be 100%.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, if you're
so how disappointing would it be? Not to say that I'd be disappointed in Derringer because I think Derringer will win a world gold as well, but how disappointing would be like we finally got DT and Kyle Dake on the world team together. They both get world golds. And then the next year to possibly not have either one due to injuries. Like,
I mean,
it's a part of the sport, but dadgum, how sad is that?
Terrible timing.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the likelihood that we waited so long for both these guys, and it finally came through, and they finally got gold, and then the next year, injury. And then that sets up the potential of, like, how much harder does that make it for those guys to then qualify for the ultimate goal of the Olympic year? I don't know what Dake's injury is, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got to look it up and see.
I wonder what it is.
I wonder if it says anything.
I'm just going to guess. I'm going to guess either ankle or shoulder. I feel like those would be two things. But, yeah, I mean, no, it's...
I'm going to say knee again just because I have no idea.
I don't want to hear knees. Knees are too scary.
Knees are very scary.
What shoulders are too?
No, I mean, heck, any of it, Joe. Okay, well, requested. Let's see. Trying to get to the article now. See if it says what the injury is versus. Kadek requests delayed wrestle off for 79 world team spot. Are now confirmed. He would request delayed wrestle off. Many have speculated. I've announced that I requested delay for the best of 3 series. I had a freak accident that required surgery and kept me off the mat for some time. So, dude kept his surgery away from everybody. Dude, that is
That's kind of scary to hear.
yeah. So he had surgery on something, but he doesn't say
Well,
what.
he said it was an emergency surgery. Is that what you said?
It said I had I had a freak accident.
Freak accident, yeah.
That required surgery.
Freak
so
accident
freak
required
accident
surgery,
is that
yeah.
like freak accident rode a motorcycle, freak accident like twisted the ankle,
Like busted your head open?
Like was no clue. But yeah, so
I don't know.
So the potential chance of not having either one of those guys on our world team to me is just kind of
Disappointing.
baffling.
It's baffling.
I mean,
it's slightly disappointing.
Slightly disappointing in
about
the
it.
I'm disappointed in the sense that I've watched
Yeah, you've been
guys
ready
that
for them to take that next step.
and they did it last year. Not disappointed in the sense of dude,
yeah.
we finally have depth too.
Oh,
PD3 is legit. He's been beating
is.
people, okay? Not as legit though. I mean, no disrespect intended. Not as legit though as Derringer is. Good gosh, I don't know if you want to call him a man child, because he's not a child anymore, but
It's like a gorilla.
he's just he is killing folks, and it's another one of those things, that backlog of dude, can we add another weight in there and throw in another one? So we finally
That's
have
our
depth.
petition. Just
So,
go ahead and make how
I
many-
like the fact that we have depth. Ooh, speaking of weight changes, did you see about the proposed National High School Federation, blah, blah, blah? There's 14 high school weights. They're considering dropping it to 12.
Really?
Yeah.
Which ones would they be get rid of?
It's kind of weird. The 106 would move to 110 and then it'd go 118 and so on, stuff like that. Now,
So the only problem I would have with that 106 is, well, 2 things. One, there's not a lot of 106 in high school anymore. But at the same time, there are some people who are still 106.
Mhm.
I mean, kids nowadays. This is no insult to anybody, but kids nowadays are just not as big and muscular
they're
as they used to. A lot of kids now are skinnier and more wiry. So dropping 106, I don't know if it'd be the best move. I could
I don't know when we got that game.
honestly, I could say you could probably cut the fat out of anywhere from 20 to 52 because you have bukus of weights in there.
I don't know. My thought is I don't mind the dropping of weight classes. After a while thinking about it, I didn't mind the dropping when we lost a couple weight classes. I didn't like the weights that they had.
The way they did it
But
just didn't make sense. You go from
when it happens,
170 to
yeah.
205.
Now, I'm good with these weights too because I'm all about it's hard to fill teams with so many people.
it is.
Now, I still think that it's simple. I don't understand when we go from the weight disparity. If we want to do 10 weights, let's go 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 210. Heavyweight, whichever. Why is it not just like that?
Why do you have
Why
to
do
have
we
a
have,
weight 133.7 is a no, I mean that's not
That's
actual
not
weight,
it.
guys. It's just it's more or
But
less.
why
a
is
joke.
it
Yeah, you have
why is
weird
it
weights.
112, 114, 117, 118, 126, 132,
137, 150.
Yeah, and these are some weights that are in existence now and some that have changed. And they've changed too. Why is it not something simple like that? And even if we want to advocate for the smaller wrestler, 103. Or even let's compromise. Let's start it at 105, 115, 125, 135. I just think there needs to be an even amount of weight distributed through.
Now
and
here's a
just
question:
going there.
would you have
That's just what I would do.
if you want to have a start off weight? For instance, let's say 103 is your start weight. Some guys don't grow. Say you have a guy that comes in and for some reason he's just not growing and he's 90 pounds. Would you have, I guess, different JV weights maybe? I mean, I know it'd be difficult because you have the high school association, it'd be under high school. So it all has to
I
be
still
the
think
same,
we
but,
keep the one and then we just give the other guy steroids.
Okay, cool. I mean, it's some people have done that before, I think.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, so that's what I think they should do with the weight classes.
Yeah.
Just do an even disbursement. at middle school, let's do, let's start off at like 80, 90, 100, 110,
Honestly,
115,
we could
or
probably
85,
start-
95, whichever way you want to do it that way.
Yeah.
Have your weights start a little bit lighter because they're smaller kids, and let's start at 75. Like I think you were just saying.
Would you put a cap on for the heavyweight? How much would you put the cap? Would you lower the cap?
If we're gonna do it that way,
but-
I'd
well,
say like
If we're gonna do it that way, yeah. But honestly, the reason I was saying you want to lower that cap because I feel if you're what is the cap now? It's like you can't be over 280.
285.
Okay, I feel it should be lower than that because if you're that much in high school or that much in middle
Middle
school,
school?
that's unhealthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm
extremely
saying.
unhealthy.
So
And I
if we
feel
just
this
get,
should
but if you
promote
get to a
healthy
couple,
eating habits.
but like really, you're gonna have a middle school unless you have like some Gable Stevensons. But even then, like in middle school, was he over 235? Like what if
Highly doubt
what
it.
if like 235 is your cap? Like we start at 75 and we go
I would say-
75,
I would say
85,
250.
95.
I'd say 250.
Yeah,
just give them a
but-
little bit of room.
Yeah, I mean, because there are going to be some big boys. But, like, I think that's how we should do our weights. I think we should have more weights at the lower end. When I say more weights at the lower end, at, like, the middle school or youth level, you start lighter. We start at 75. And let's just do, like, 10 pounds between our weight classes. 75, 85.
Like a simple
Let's keep it simple.
skeleton.
And then when
line.
we get to the high school level, hey, you're at high school. We're starting at 105 now. 105 through 225.
Yeah.
And here are your 14 or 12 weights, College, hey, we're starting at, so we start at 105. At college, we're starting at 125, which,
I like that. I think that's a
we
good
start
place
at
to start.
we start at 125. You get 35, 45, 55, and then obviously in college you can have some big mamma jammas rolling around 265. Because I mean, if you think about it, MMA the heavyweight class is 265.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it cuts up from 265.
So why do we need a 285?
Which, by the way, have you seen? Have you heard all the news in the boxing world recently?
fat dude, like
the
the
fat
one
dude who beat Anthony
Yeah.
Joshua, and like
They
I'm
were
sure he's
like-
a great boxer, but what he's noticed or what he has now made, I guess, popular is you look at the two top guys in the two toughest sports, boxing and MMA. Which I mean, I would say wrestling too, but like boxing and MMA, who's the top guy in your entire company? Two fat guys.
DC.
Love it, yeah.
yeah.
Maybe that's the thing. And like Joe Rogan was talking about it on his podcast, saying, "Man, I'm gonna start bringing back guts." That's what it is.
Well, what was his name? Big Country was.
Big country.
He
Roy
was
Nelson.
Roy Nelson. He was doing it before it was popular.
Oh yeah, and he was patting that stuff.
So he was like, "Give me my cheeseburger."
I just did my little summer thing where I've dropped some weight. I might just throw it back on. Why
Yeah.
not? I feel like it's in style now.
You go for it. I'm gonna go back for it. I'm still trying to do my morning runs, do some more cardio. Now that it's summertime,
I'm gonna be eating my hot dog cheering you on. But while
I'm trying to listen to my man here. I'm trying to be logical about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make excuses to do something right.
Yeah.
Earlier podcast.
That was earlier today. I watched that as I woke up. As he was saying, an excuse to get out of bed. As I was watching it in bed.
Yeah.
So I
So,
was like, oh wow, I feel attacked.
but yeah, I'm trying to cut out some of the sugars, processed foods, stick with being a realist too, not eating because I'm hungry. I should eat something, but instead of grabbing a bag of chips, let me grab an apple.
Yeah, I've actually
just
stopped
kinda-
craving bad
I
foods.
just want to just trying to give and
Yeah.
and now that I think I have a little bit more control over my schedule and time with it being summer. Although if I can continue to do this next week when I'm gone to the first of one of my many institutes. Well, I've got 2 institutes in a summer class I got to take, but so I'll be facilitating a class next week at Converse. So if I can maybe snag a bunch of apples out of the cafeteria in the morning before we do it. So
See, that's what it's like. I said, when I started dropping this weight, I don't really crave anything with a lot of sugar in it. I actually had my first bite of anything. Or I won't say first bite, but first actual sweets since started wrestling season, maybe. Maybe even before. We came back hiking, and me, my cousin, and my girlfriend, we all got pizza from this place called Bricks, and they had this s'more pizza, and we were all kind of like, "Oh, that does sound good." Well, I haven't had it. Little did they know, I haven't eaten sweets since in over 6 months, and that was the first time I had sweets, and it was almost. I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong. But it was almost too sweet.
Too sweet.
And I
Yeah,
was
some
like,
things are too sweet.
And it's not like I've been craving, although
Especially
that day I was
I'm not
craving
a
that.
super sweet
Yeah.
guy. For me, my downfall has always been
Oh, chocolate's always my downfall.
well, me it's been chips and cheese dip or something
See,
like that.
I'm a chocolate guy, but my thing is, I hadn't really craved many sweets, although I did crave that just because I was so deprived of nutrients. and
No, they can be either way you want it, buddy.
Cheerio. But yeah, I mean, now like I actually crave like healthier foods. Like I'll think about like for some reason here recently I've been really wanting broccoli and like corn and sweet potatoes. Weirdly enough, like I was jonesing for sweet potatoes, so I made some sweet potato fries the other day with my eggs, just because I was like, yeah.
Good.
I mean, you make them yourself. You can bake them, make them taste like they're fried. Where they're crispy and all that. But yeah, I mean, it's just like sweet potatoes have. I've really been wanting sweet potatoes.
Yeah,
And, like I said,
potatoes.
broccoli and corn as well.
Alright. So while okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Alright. Shout out to my man Nick down in Alabama. He's also supposed to be getting the podcast together sometime, tuckered out. So I'm gonna send him a little something here. So as we're recording live right now, Facebook Live, got our other stuff going on. Talking to my man Nick, was asking about wrestling camps and stuff like that. So sending Kale to UTC camp, Chattanooga Strong. I think we're gonna go check out Heath at the FCA camp. But yeah, man, just figured I'd throw you on here for a minute. You check him out. He's eventually gonna put together Tuckered Out. He'll get it. All right.
We also we need a Cerebrus wrestling camp.
Yeah, Cerebrus
That
wrestling
would be
camp.
great.
It would be great.
Sign up, pay like
You know
extra
what-
$10, you get a T-shirt.
No lie.
That would
I
actually be a
was-
good idea for that Just Art Apparel.
No
actually-
lie. I was looking at the I saw that church over here,
Yeah.
like on the corner, like there's a for sale sign. I'm like, man.
But
I was like, dude, it's got a big parking lot. There's already kind of like we could have little barbecues off to
Yeah.
the side and food, and we could put up some pull-up bars, and
we can do
outdoor-
outside scrimmages.
there's there's a field for some outdoor stuff. I'm like, dude, we could put some mats up in that place. I was like, so
This is gonna sound
whoever wants to
really
donate
bad.
for
Take
us for
the,
that,
Take
yes.
the cross off the top with the Cerebrus logo. That'd be really bad. But
It'd be really bad if we flipped the cross upside down and
Oh,
put the
yeah.
logo on top of it or something. We're just, we're just changing the church to do a thing. It's not that bad, man. It's not like, although the dogs are the guardians too. Never mind. All right, so this could be. I would still take the building if we could do it though. Yeah, I would do all that.
I'd consult
I
I'd consult a priest first to do like a little thing because I feel like we might get struck down.
Yeah, can
or
you
stricken.
bless us? Bless us to make sure we're okay here.
He's gonna hear our ideas like absolutely not.
So, all right. So that's DT and Kyle Dake. Burrows has got Imar. I don't know. What do you think about this year's like Final X lineups and stuff? Like last year, there were like 3 different locations.
Yeah, they
And,
did
like,
3 different locations.
I kind of feel bad for the not having the DT match and not having the Kyle Dake match because last year it seemed like every time we turned it on, like it was just like Final X was like the bomb. Like the time we got to watch, daggum, we got to watch Burrows and Snyder and one night on thing, best 2 out of 3.
Mhm.
Whereas I think we're gonna have some good matchups this year. I just don't feel like
It's not as big.
star studded.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
even though
I
it is
think-
star studded,
It's not, and it's not to the. It's not to the fault of any of the wrestlers.
No.
It's the fault of, like we said, injuries.
Yes.
Like,
And for those of you watching, you have a big treat right now with this dude right here. There's multiple screens on. He does not know what to do or what to focus on. So, you can switch. Okay. But yeah, I just kind of feel that way. Now, I am looking forward to watching, although, like I said, I got the Institute starting on Sunday. So, when is the first one? Is it Saturday? Is it I don't know. I gotta look at it. I know the first one's coming up, like,
Yeah.
I think this weekend. So,
It's
I may be like, I'm supposed to be looking at lesson plans for people, and I'm gonna like.
I've got Saturday off. I think it is the Saturday.
So I
I took
might be-
Saturday. I took all day Saturday.
So I might be locked away in a dorm room,
Yeah.
like telling people I'm looking at their lesson plans, be like, "Leave me alone! I am studying your lesson plans."
Yeah.
Why do we hear wrestling? Shut up!
It's helping me focus.
Speak not to me now, child. These are other grown adults too, though. Like for me to speak that way and be like, they're like, our facilitator / coach is kind of weird.
He's lost his mind.
just-
I have not lost my mind. I have found.
I have found my serenity now in this. And if you want me to look at your lesson plan, you will let me watch this first. So
Unless you want me to demonstrate some of the stuff you're watching on this.
on you, yes. All right, bud, we'll help you out. So I think we. After come to an hour, and I think we've like hit everything that we were looking at trying to hit.
Basically, yeah.
Talked about retirements, got everything going. Let's see here, my man Nick. Oh, he's going to Nebraska's camp, and then in June, then UTC in July.
Oh, we did not talk about one thing. Seth Gross.
Seth Gross.
Yeah.
All right,
We called it.
we called it as well.
I mean,
Everybody else did.
but
And then, like, what bothered me about, like, how long it took him to respond and say that he did was, like, his girlfriend, I think it is, like, she signed with the Badger RTC or whichever, I think, like, a couple weeks before, and, like, she had this stuff. I'm like, dude, like, we all know now for
Yeah.
sure. Like,
Go ahead.
go ahead and do it, you know.
But I mean, I think everyone kind of knew he wanted to get back with Bono.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. What'd you think about this video, though? Like, did you see him, like,
In front of the Badger?
yeah.
About that one? I mean,
I mean, to me, well, I guess, you know, you spend all your time cutting down to 133. I was like, man, his cheeks looked a little full to me. And I was like,
maybe
that cut's gonna suck, is what I was thinking.
He puffed up a little bit, maybe.
And that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, man, I saw that and I was like, dude, that cut is going to suck. So,
Unless he doesn't go back down there.
which is kind of what I was wondering. But I don't see him going 41, really. Although,
I can see it.
Oh man, Yanni taking that Olympic red shirt or gray shirt.
Yeah.
Dude, all right, I gotta talk about this again too.
Oh, we're gonna talk about
Yeah,
Yanni.
Yanni. Yanni. I'm sorry, Zane. Yanni is, until I see him get stopped, I'm gonna say he is unstoppable.
He's
And put your money down with Yanni right now. Here's another one that I think that people are overlooking, and this is what I also meant to say. I'm not hating on Penn State, which I have done before. Bo Nickel is a great wrestler. I love watching him wrestle. But he's about to face the alien. I think he's about to see something he has not ever seen before.
yeah.
And Jaden has even come out and said it, that he feels like he's the most underappreciated wrestler right now. And that is a scary thought for him to also. And he also,
Flo
Jaden
was talking junk
and
about.
Jaden has even come out and said that, and I think Jaden's like, he's fixed some things from before. He used to be like our bronze medalist that had the potential to be a gold medalist, right? Jaden ain't no joke right now. I think Jaden's refocused, re-energized, and as much
it's
as
this weekend, by
yeah.
the way.
as much as I don't want to be. When is June 8th? Is that? No, my mouse is frozen again. I need some new batteries.
Oh, okay, never mind. For a minute, when I read it the first time, I thought they said is Jaden in trouble, and it says it's Bo in trouble. But
Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't think nothing against Bo. Like Bo is a great wrestler,
but like that's
but
another.
I genuinely do not think
Saturday the 8th, so that depends on what's up.
Or not today, Saturday.
Okay, that's Saturday, so I gotta be there Sunday, so.
But yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
Bo Nickel realizes what he's in for.
I mean, I think he might realize, but I just don't think he's there. It's something that he has not seen before, so.
I mean, I think I don't want to say he's going to be shocked, but I think it's going to be like, especially that first match, it's going to be kind of like, okay, like, interesting. This is
Yeah.
the first taste of this.
Of this level, of this
Yeah.
caliber, because like he
This
had to wrestle through the
strength
tournaments
of,
and
yeah.
everything else, and like he's wrestled those guys, but
But now it's time
like,
for the
this
top
is-
of the top.
this is the guy who, before his injury, was the guy who beat DT.
Yeah.
This is the guy who, to me, scares me because I'm such a big Kyle Snyder fan. Like, daggum, if he goes up, like,
This is a
which
guy.
I will take, which I will gladly also take him in that spot. Like, I'll take Kyle Snyder. I'm a big, huge Kyle Snyder fan. Obviously, we all, both are, and I love watching him wrestle. But if it is Jaden, it's not going to be like me being like, I hate Jaden, man. We're gonna sneak.
No.
It's going to be like, all right, Jaden's our man. I'm going to give him our
Let's
100%.
I'm with
like,
either.
yeah.
I mean,
but-
to me, it's
but
like
it's-
for Bo, it's if you want to be that top guy at this next level, this is that door you got to go through, and it's not an easy door.
And
This is a
my
brick
problem
wall.
with Bo is like, he's already said he wants to make an Olympic run and then go MMA. So like.
Maybe he's
Dude,
thinking
like-
it's gonna be
Like this is maybe he's already thinking like
if I can't
between
beat him
DT
now-
and Jaden, like these guys, like
yeah.
it's now or never, and like is he conceding the give up already for like his wrestling
Has
career?
he mentally
As,
checked out?
as great as his wrestling career has been, yeah,
Has he mentally checked out?
has he
already?
checked out? I hope not.
I
So
don't think so.
you know.
But I mean, but no, in reality, if he's wanting to be that,
is this a legal headlock? Oh yeah, gotta have the arm.
but yeah, if he wants to be that next guy at the next
Abuse
level,
children
you
on the
got to.
podcast.
It's the way we get views.
Ow. Jeez.
They
Yes.
abuse you right back.
Yes, I do. Oh, dude. So.
Open palm strike. But
So. Ow! That one caught me.
Tooth.
All right. And he laughs about it too. Yes. This is how we raise him in the compound. Feral.
feral.
That's how my wife described him the other day.
Feral children.
Yes, feral children. So. Don't throw up on my head. That'd be disgusting.
That would be hilarious. For me,
For the views.
for me, and for everyone else. For you, it'd be
You're
terrible.
like, do it for the views. All right, guys. So we will let you go. Like I said, I'm gonna be gone next week.
Yeah.
Not gone. I'll be at Commerce, but I'll be there working late at night and stuff like that. The week after that, I think we're going to Tennessee, and for like the beginning of it, but we can get together like later on at the end of the week and try to do a recording middle of the day or so.
Nothing else. We can just record them separately if we need to.
Yeah, we'll do it.
All
All
right,
right, guys.
saying we're gonna do it, and we never do. But
Yeah, well, I started to, but then I sent you the text today, and I was like, "You want to record?" And you're like, "Sure." I was just
Let's
waking
do
up
it.
anyway. So,
Yeah.
all right, cool. We'll see you guys. All right, I can't see.
Bye bye.